Hi, welcome to practice. My name is Alyssa, if we haven't met in real life, and I use they, them pronouns. I'm recording this little yoga guidance or instruction from the yurt that I live in the San Juan Islands, and I'm here with my dog. I live on a farm, so every once in a while sounds come up in these videos, etc. Apologies in advance. This video, as with all these videos, are really just offerings as tools you might use. I live kind of an isolated way, very far away from a lot of the folks I used to teach yoga and practice yoga with. And so this is one of the ways that I'm staying connected with practicing and with thinking about what I offer to the world around yoga teaching. Yoga isn't something I own. And so I really want to be clear that the intention is to practice liberation for me and physical things, being physical in your body, processing trauma. Some of us really need physicality to do that. So remember that this is not a gymnastics competition. I say that because today's class, we're working on inversions. And I invert a lot. I'm really interested in inversions, mostly because it feels like a superpower, right? To be able to liberate yourself to be upside down. It also feels like a very natural thing as the species, the animals that we are, what we've evolved from hanging around from trees, etc., feeling that sort of loose swinging, the ability to use gravity to our advantage, momentum to our advantage, physics to our advantage from an experiential point of view is really interesting. It reminds me of dance and other ways of expressive creation. And so I offer these ideas really for you to work with. And remember that everybody who turns upside down and looks magical doing it, you see all those videos on the internet. I laugh just because it's so much not a high percentage, I think, of the reality of people who practice postural yoga. But you see someone who's like, they're beautiful and they're wearing tight pants and they're covered in tattoos and they're somewhere like Bali or Thailand on some big rock and they're doing some inversion or arm balancing posture. And it's so impressive. And I want to be clear that in so many ways that is impressive. But it's not really yoga, especially the picture of it, right? The idea of the hours of practice and dedication and devotion, continued humility, continued awareness of non-attachment, that posture isn't anything. Those are the practices of yoga that that person may or may not be doing. And so I just offer here that if you're interested in it, even if for the beauty of the actions, that you allow yourself to really practice non-attachment, that the process of the thing that we're doing is what we're doing. And non-attachment is one of these classical tenets of the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, this idea that we are trying to experience things without putting our identity into them. That's really what attachment is in the long run. It's not just, oh, I'm attached to Albert, I want him close, but I'm not me if I'm not with Albert. And I don't know. That's kind of, I'll unpack that later. I do really love my dog. That's who I'm talking about as I refer to and turn towards this bed structure. But give yourself permission to consider that, like, whether you can do a yoga pose or not has so little to do with what you have to offer to your fellow species members, to the earth around you, right? Even to yourself. So this is just a process, an idea, maybe something to be curious about. If you have a wall, that can be helpful, a bed, a couch, or a chair, something you can sit on and sort of scooch to the edge of or sort of back onto a little bit from a seated position, or with your legs could be nice for this kind of practice. I don't have a wall because I live in a yurt, so I'm going to use the chair for a lot of things, and the bed for things is sort of a faux wall. But if you have one, please feel free to use it. All right, I think I've said all the disclaimers and given as much context as I can. Remember, it's okay to pause the video. It's okay to fast forward through things. It's okay to skip something or to just do something totally differently entirely. Since we're not in the same time and space, I trust that you are making decisions for yourself and that this is just a tool you might use for some guidance so you don't have to come up with a whole business creative context all on your own. All right. We're going to begin with sort of the most classical inversion. When we say inversion, we're really talking about any time when your legs are over your heart or when your head is below your heart, right? So both of those things come into play, into context, and we'll start with what is most, I think, reasonable for all bodies and sort of work our way towards complexity and strength and things like that in this time. All right, so legs at the wall is where we begin. I'm going to go over to this bed space over here and I'm going to turn sideways so I can scooch the side of my hip and body, hi buddy, right up to the wall, and then turn so that my legs go up. If you have a full wall in this space, you might decide to roll up a sweatshirt or use a block underneath your pelvis, because sometimes that just gives us a little more inverted shape. I'm going to have my legs up the wall, straight up and down. If you're like me and you're using a chair, you don't have a wall, you could just hook your legs over like this, and you're doing it already. It's happened. You're welcome to take your legs wide, or some people like to bend their knees into the butterfly shape. And when we turn upside down, there's a series of nerves in your throat and chest. And they sort of, I'm really oversimplifying here for you scientists and doctors and things, but there's these nerves in your chest and throat. And when you're upright, one of the greatest challenges of being an upright race with our head up above our torso is that our heart has to work a little harder to pump blood upward against gravity so that we have enough blood for our very blood needy brain to have. And so one of the things that happens in the head is at the same level of the heart or below it is that the blood from the legs, yes, has more help of gravity coming down to return to the heart space, the blood that's moving through our veins as opposed to our arteries that's deoxygenated coming back for oxygen. And as we turn upside down, these nerves in our chest get the message that our head is below the heart so that we don't overpump blood in that direction. And it gives the heart the message that it can slow its heart rate down. It sets off a parasympathetic nervous system reaction, allows us hopefully to come into a relaxed state. And we hope to be in a relaxed state for our own liberation, for clarity. Sometimes I talk about yoga as the practice of yoga chitta vritti nirodha, the yoga's chitta vritti nirodha, the stilling of the fluctuations of the mind, or the sort of extending of the curves of the fluctuations of your experiences, gaining perspective on those fluctuations so we understand that they are of the unreal as opposed to the real. They are of the changing as opposed to the unchanging, and gaining perspective on them. And so even the fluctuating of the heart up and down, when we have stress, right, there's more fluctuations of our physical experience, of our mental experience. We tend to also think of yoga as the waking up from conditioned existence, right? So instead of just getting pushed and pulled around by our experiences in this lifetime, in this culture, on this planet, we're able to stand in samasthiti, in the balance point between them all, right? Being able to balance as opposed to being pushed and pulled by the sway of experience, so that we're not attached. We don't become the experience, simply witnessing it. And that's a lot of idea there, but relaxation tends to be unsexy in our culture. It tends to be something we don't want to do. We're supposed to be working hard or stressed out or accomplishing a lot. So just giving you like a lot of reasons, especially if you're a thinker, to consider relaxation. As you relax here for a few more moments, notice if you're breathing. You might begin to breathe in the ujjayi form in and out through your nose. You could also breathe out through your mouth in the HA sound a few times before sealing your lips around it. To create ujjayi. And there are contraindications for turning upside down, especially from going upside down to right side up. A lot of blood pressure issues can be at hand. So if that's you, you might take this slow and notice whether this is the work for you today. Ujjayi means upward liberating breath. And you draw your knees into your chest, draw your legs down the wall and roll to one side. Take a few moments with your knees in before pressing yourself up. You might have to climb over to your yoga mat as I do. You could find a hands and knees position, or you could come to a seat and sit your hips and your heels, or sit up on props with crossed legs. Take a little spinal undulation. Already there's a little bit of arm balance going on if you're on your hands or on your forearms, either way. Cow and cat, inhale to cow pose, lift your chin and tail. Exhale to cat shape, tuck your chin, round your spine. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, cat. And play around, inhale, with pulling your heart forward and pushing the palms of your hands back. They won't go anywhere. And exhale in the cat shape, pushing your hands forward. They won't go anywhere. And pulling your rib cage, your front ribs up in and back. Follow your breath. Inhaling and exhaling through a few more. Now do your best to lead either with your tail or maybe with the center of your spine. The position begins to change from that point so that your head can come along like the ball at the end of a chain, as opposed to the necessitated leader of all action. And we'll take a couple of popularly practiced inversions that often aren't thought of that way. Curl your toes under. Inhale into down dog. Lift your hips up and back. So in the downward facing dog shape, right? Tail is up and back, hands and feet are at the bottom. You might lift your heels and play around with stretching the arches of your feet a couple of times. Hang your head. Now the tilt of the inversion, right? There's a different slope than being directly upside down, but the head is below the heart. In downward facing dog pose, just the same as if you were to take child's pose as an alternative. If you were really wily and your neck feels okay about it, you could also set your knees up on a couple of cushions so that your head is inverted further down. Always be kind with your neck in these sorts of shapes. Go from downward facing dog pose one hand at a time. Exhale by exhale, walk your hands back to where your feet are and hang in forward fold. If you're tight in your hamstrings, bend your knees, and at a certain point you're going to have to kind of push off to land in your heels. Tight hamstrings, not a bad thing. Probably just strong, and that's what you feel. You might grab for opposite elbow with opposite hand and bend your knees, hang your head. Uttanasana means extending from center. We call it forward fold often, but uttana is about extension, that oo sound. As you hang your head and neck, you can always nod your head from side to side as you breathe in and out through your nose and sway from side to side. As an alternative, since I have a chair right here, bed right here, you could always come and sit on the edge of the bed. From here, you could always support head and face. This is already working towards that forward fold, not quite as inverted, but leveling the distance, or come all the way down. And if for any reason it's more of ease to be supported in your upper body, sit on a taller chair, bring your upper body down to a lower chair, and you're doing it. Now, especially if practicing regularly, like doing like an hour of yoga or whatever on a video or in a class, is not something you can always integrate into your life. You might consider as you get up in the morning, you could set a timer and practice 2 minutes of an inversion like this on your way into your day, or in the evening on your way to wind down into resting. All right. You're still in that forward fold. Whether you're sitting or standing, bend your knees and round yourself up slowly, one breath at a time. Take 2 or 3 breaths to do it. Drag your head. Let it be the last thing to lift. When you get to the top of standing, draw yourself to samastitihi, which might mean bringing your feet together, keeping them at hip distance. You could roll your shoulders down your back and close your eyes. Equilibrium. Really, every posture is a balanced pose because we stand on 2 feet instead of 4, and the planet moves. So we're always using our vestibular system to equate to gravity. We have like a literal physical sense. It gives us an idea of how we are in space. A similar sense that gives us sort of a squish perspective. We know that feeling of sort of how far we've gone in one direction because the squishiness and stretchiness of the body meets its own limits. Sama sitihi, same on all sides. Sama means same, sitihi standing, or standing in or at attention. You might notice that if you relax your feet and settle into your heels, the downward pressure of the heaviness of your bones creates a natural upward lift of the roof of your mouth, the crown of your head, the center of your heart, maybe even your pelvis you can feel rise. When you actively press down using the strength of your center with your feet, crown of your head rises up. This same buoyancy comes to play when you're turning upside down in an active sense. When you push your hands or your forearms, even in some cases the top of your head, down into the earth. You're creating this upward lift. The spine extends. Create the open accordion sense. You inhale, that same extension occurs, which is often why we inhale into inversions, is that extension pulling 2 points away from one another manipulates gravity. I'm going to do some sun salutations to warm up the body. Inhale, take your arms forward, outer up, Urdhva Hastasana, the arms up pose. Exhale, forward fold. I'm going to bend my knees to accommodate my lower back. Hang your head at the bottom, inverting. Inhale, halfway lift, unroll your spine. It's almost like uninverting halfway. Exhale, forward fold, and step back with your left foot so your right foot stays forward, a low lunge. Now even here, take an inhale, pull your heart forward and up. On your exhale, we take a bit of a cat lunge. Notice I step my back foot in. I'm going to forward fold. Now my hips are above my heart. You can stay high on the ball of your back foot. You can step your back foot in enough to spin the heel down or in. Now, as much as you can, you might notice this inversion with your hands on the ground. If you can be truly in a standing pose, your arms could be loose. You might discern how you can use your legs. Nod your head. Make sure you're not using the back of your neck to hold yourself up. Good. Bend your front knee, slide your back foot back. Inhale, cow lunge. Exhale, step your right foot back to meet your left. Lower your knees to the mat, your chest to the mat. Come all the way down. Inhale to cobra pose. Tops of your feet down. Peel your heart forward, out and up. And exhale to lower your upper body down. Good. It's the full moon time here, so we're going to do a few back bends in this class. Inhale, roll your heart forward, out and up again. Cobra pose. Exhale, lengthen to lower. And one more time, you might float your hands off the ground. Inhale, Ujjayi. Try to keep your feet pressing the earth. And exhale to bring your upper body down. Inhale through plank or hands and knees. You might exhale through child's pose on your way to downward facing dog pose. Breathe in and out through your nose. Good. Take a big free inhale. On your exhale, step your left foot forward. You'll have to draw your knee into your chest. You might grab the foot and pull it forward. Again, inhale towards the cow lunge, sink your hips. And exhale towards the cat lunge, straightening your legs. You might step your back foot forward or spin the heel in. Some of us stay on the ball of the foot. There's even yoga props that sort of make like a chunky heel for a shoe. So your arch is rising, a different way of working, showing a different version on this side. Again, if your heel is off the ground, you might have more balance work to happen. Always work in these postures with your knees quite bent. Still strength and activity in the legs with bent knees. Press your feet down. See if you can relax your neck. Let go of your arms as balance supports. Take a few breaths. All right. Slide your right foot back, bend your left knee. Inhale, look forward, and with one or many steps, exhale, step forward and hang in forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, out and up to Urdhva Hastasana, the arms up pose, reaching up. Press your feet down and exhale. Samasthiti. Okay. Inhale your arms up, reaching upward. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold and step your right foot back. Inhale, cow lunge. Exhale, cat lunge. Inhale, cow lunge. Exhale, chaturanga, halfway or all the way down. Inhale, upward dog or an alternative. Exhale to downward facing dog pose, or perhaps you go through child's pose on the way. Take a big free inhale. Exhale, step your right foot forward, pulling your knee in towards your chest and shifting your shoulders forward over your wrists. Grab your foot and pull it up as you need to for length. Inhale, cow lunge. Exhale, cat lunge. Inhale, cow lunge. Bend your front knee, lift your heart, look forward. Exhale, step up, left foot meets the right, hang in forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Good. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana, out and up. Lead with your middle back. Exhale, Samasthiti. Now, we think about inversions as things that are supported by your hands or your upper body in some way. One of the ways we sort of get ourselves to understand those concepts is going halfway in, right? By lifting one leg off the ground. So instead of just standing on your hands or your forearms, stand on one leg and your hands and your forearms. So we'll do a little bit of that, both from down dog and forward fold, and we'll flow through some of these things. Some of it may be of interest to you to think about doing differently than you usually do it. I've been talking a lot about the difference between standing on your legs and relaxing your upper body versus standing on your upper body and relaxing your lower body. All right, just food for thought. Inhale your arms up, reaching up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, stand on your right foot, and inhale, take your left leg back to a standing L. So that's probably about 90 degrees parallel to the floor. You could go higher if you want to. You might notice turning your hip out sometimes gives you a different height. Rotating it towards not turned out sometimes is another way to work. Relax your neck for a moment. Notice how much reliance is on your hands. So you might press into your hands. You might even walk them forward until you feel like you can. Press your hands into the ground and extend your leg away. You might also try out making this a true standing pose. Walk your hands back towards your foot, hang your head, maybe eventually no touch at all, a light touch. Good. Take another inhale. Exhale, bend your right knee and step your left foot back. Inhale, cow lunge. Exhale, cat lunge. Inhale, low lunge. Exhale, chaturanga. Step back, lower halfway or all the way, or you can knees, chest, chin for sure. Inhale, up dog or cobra, or place all this with cow-cat tilts. And exhale back towards downward facing dog pose. Take a big free inhale in through your nose. Open mouth, exhale, ujjayi. Inhale in through your nose. Exhale out through your nose. Good. Press down into your hands. Inhale high on your tippy toes. Exhale, bend your knees and try to press your armpits back towards your ankles. Take another inhale. Press into your hands and try to press your tail up, back, and away, opposite direction. And exhale, drive your heels towards the earth. Classic dog pose. Inhale, breathing. Take your left leg up and back, one-footed dog. And again, you might just reach it straight up and back in the same line as your spine to begin with. You could exhale to take it up even higher, rotating it out above your body. As you breathe, you might also bend your knee and rotate your hip up on top of your right hip. And some of us will lift the right heel or bend the right knee to accommodate our hamstring strength. Inhale, straighten and extend your left leg high and long. Exhale, pull your knee into your chest. Step your left foot forward, long, low lunge. Inhale, cow lunge. Exhale, cat lunge. Inhale. Low lunge, look forward. Exhale. Step forward and fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale. forward fold. Inhale. Urdhva Hastasana, arms up. Exhale. Arms by your side, Samasthitihi, standing neutral pose. Good. Inhale, arms up, reaching up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Stand on your left foot. Inhale, standing L or split. Ekapada Uttanasana means one-footed fold. So you might focus more on folding your body to your leg than you do on lifting the other leg higher, and notice what happens. And of course, again, you can walk your hands forward and press and see what it's like. It's almost like a short one-footed dog. See how your leg goes up and back away from the pressure of your arms. And also try lifting your hands off the ground and making this a balanced posture. Take another inhale and exhale. Bend your standing knee and step your foot all the way back. Inhale, cow lunge. Exhale, cat lunge. Inhale, cow lunge. Exhale, chaturanga dandasana. Inhale, urdhva mukha svanasana. Exhale, adho mukha svanasana. Inhale to your tippy toes. Exhale, bend your knees. See if you can keep hanging your head while you do it. For some reason, everyone looks forward. Inhale, push your heart back towards your ankles. Stick your tail high. You might even tuck your chin and see what happens. And exhale, drive your heels down. Classic dog. Inhale, take your right leg up and back. And again, you might reach it long. You would also think about pulling your left thigh back equally so you can equate more weight across both hands. You might use an exhale to roll your straight right leg up and open, or to bend your knee, like your foot could go to your left ear. You might move your leg around a little bit. I do. Sometimes my hip is a little crampy or needs a little bit of space. Inhale, straighten and extend your right leg, and exhale, draw your knee towards your chest, come high on the ball of your left foot, shoulders over your wrists to step your right foot forward, drag it up as you need to. Inhale, cow lunge. Exhale, cat lunge. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, step forward and fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Good. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Samasthiti. We'll flow through with a couple of added friends. Good. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, left leg up. Exhale, step it back. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, chaturanga dandasana. You could always float your right foot. Inhale, upward dog pose. Exhale, downward dog pose. Inhale your left leg up and back, one-footed dog. Perhaps an exhale to open your hip and bend your knee and relax your leg. Inhale, straighten and extend. Exhale, low lunge. Inhale, gaze forward. Exhale, put the weight in your left foot, and inhale, standing L. Kick the sky with your right foot. Exhale, 2 feet down, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees for Utkatasana, fierce pose, sometimes called chair. Inhale your arms out and up. Still inhaling, stand all the way up. Exhale, Samasthiti. Good. Inhale your arms up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, right leg up and back. Exhale, low lunge. Inhale, cow lunge. Exhale, cat lunge. Inhale, low lunge. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Inhale to take your right leg up and back, one-footed dog. Exhale, open your hip, bend your knee. If you'd like. Inhale, straighten and reach. Exhale. Step forward, low lunge. Inhale, cow lunge. Exhale, cat lunge. Inhale, low lunge. Exhale, stand on your right foot. Inhale, kick your left leg up and back, one-footed forward fold or standing split. And exhale, 2 feet down on the earth. At the top of your space, inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, Utkatasana, bend your knees. Inhale, arms out or up. Still inhaling, press into your heels and stand up. Exhale. Samasthiti. All right, we'll do this a couple of more times. A couple of options to try doing some hopping and things like that. You're always welcome to try those things at a wall, especially if you're skittish. Remember to have faith and also to pay attention to what you're doing, especially when you don't think it's going to work out. Giving yourself like an honest try has to do with believing that honestly, eventually, maybe it'll work out for you, right? That's like a little tiny faith practice. That's it. All right. Inhale your arms out or up, reaching up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, left leg up. Exhale, step back, low lunge. Listen. Inhale, high lunge. Arms out or up. You could always do this with your back knee down instead if you'd like. Exhale, hands down. Step back, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale your left leg high. Exhale, open your hip and bend your knee. Now listen, inhale up into the ball of your right foot. That's your standing foot. And exhale, bend your knee. Now without changing your lifted leg, inhale to hop with your right foot. Inhale to hop your shoulders over your wrists and exhale to land your foot on the ground. So it looks like this. Notice I keep a spring in my right foot, my right knee, so it can land. Take another inhale, lift your left leg high. Exhale, step your left foot forward between your hands. Inhale, high lunge. Stand in your left heel high on the ball of your right foot. Take your arms out or up. Exhale. Hands down. Inhale, standing L or split. Kick the sky with your right foot. Exhale, 2 feet down, folding. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, Utkatasana, bend your knees. Stick your tail out. Inhale, your arms out or up. Still inhaling, stand up. Exhale, Samasthiti. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale your right leg up and back. Exhale, step back. Inhale, crescent lunge. Exhale, warrior two, just so we have a chance to do it. And take an inhale to reverse your warrior, out, up, and back. Stay low in the front heel and hip. Exhale your hands down. Step back for Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, take your right leg up and back. Exhale, open your hip and bend your knee. Inhale, high up into the ball of your left foot, standing foot. Exhale, bend your left knee. Putting weight in your hands, inhale, hop. Exhale, land. Imagine your right foot is a soft thing, right? You can even bounce it a little, that you're tossing up over your head. Try one more time. And then use an inhale to straighten and extend your right leg high up and back. And exhale to step forward between your hands. Inhale, high lunge, crescent lunge, rise up. Exhale, warrior two. Spin your back heel down at any angle that accommodates your back knee. Inhale, reverse the Virabhadra, the warrior pose. Stay low in your right hip. Exhale your hands to the earth. Frame your right foot. Spin your left heel up. Inhale, standing out. Kick the sky. Exhale. Forward fold. And before we move back to standing, let's take a moment in the forward fold to nod your head. There are some options. A lot of people grab for the elbows. For passive folding, this can be great. You might active fold by grabbing for your big toes to pull down. Padangusthasana, sliding the palms of your hands below the soles of your feet. Padahastasana. You could also interweave your fingers at your tail. For some people, this doesn't feel so great in their elbows or shoulders. You could also grab for opposite elbow, opposite wrist behind the back. Or interweave your fingers at the nape of your neck. All right, inhale to halfway lift. Exhale to forward fold. And release your arms and inhale to take them out and up through Utkatasana. Still inhaling, stand all the way up. And exhale, stand in neutral. Check on the time a little bit. Okay, all right, as we continue through, I'm going to do a little bit of strengthening through the arms and upper body. You know, if that's not something you do a lot of, you might really take your time or work your way up to doing more. Really, I suggest generally doing less. You don't have to sort of press for success in this way. Inhale, take your arms up. This time, exhale to Utkatasana. Bend your knees, sink your hips, and sweep your arms back behind you. Turn your thumbs up. I have my palms facing forward, like you give a high five straight out to the side. And see how much you can bring your backs of hands towards one another behind you. If your hands are about the same height as your hips. Now I'm really sticking my tail out, pulling my chest out, dropping my hips low and rocking weight back into my heels. Inhale, stand up. Exhale, Utkatasana, bend your knees, sink your hips. This time, flip your palms around so you're internally rotating from the shoulder a little bit. Thumbs down, pinkies up, and see how close you can press your hands together at that same hip-ish height. Inhale, take your arms out, turn through the wrists as you go. Urdhva Hastasana, reach up. Exhale, forward fold, dive down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees enough that you can put your hands on the ground. That might be a lot. You might bend your knees and even have to lift your heels up, and that's totally chill. What we're going to try to do is straighten our arms and rock our weight into our hands. So as you press your hands into the ground, inhale to shift your weight forward. We do this when we practice Bakasana, crow pose, but with our knees really bent into our arms. So same principle. Inhale to shift the weight forward. And exhale. Put your heels back down. Now try to get your hands relatively close to your feet. So if your hands are way far away, it may be more difficult. You have more distance to shift your hips. Again, inhale. Press the weight into your hands. And exhale, heels down. Inhale, take your right foot up and back, standing L or split. You can bend your standing leg as much as you'd like, your lifted leg as much as you'd like. Inhale, shift your weight from your left foot into your hands. And exhale your weight in your heel. Now go slow. Inhale to shift. And exhale to drop it down. Now, if you're feeling super wily, you have a wall or a chair, you can bring your lifted leg up onto that thing. Mine is not very high. I'm actually even going to use a slightly higher chair behind me, but that's the idea. You're going to bring the weight into your hands and you're going to press into the top of your lifted right foot and see if you can bring your standing leg off the ground. Now, if you're at a wall, you're going to curl your toes under and push the ball of your foot into it. You can do this at any height. The higher it is, though, the sort of trickier it is. So make sure you're far enough away from whatever your special prop is so that you can get a little lift off of your foot. All right. You can give that a try. You can always pause this video to give that a moment. If you're feeling very squirrely and you get a lift, you might also pull your left knee into your chest and take your foot up overhead. Now, of course, you might want to think about drawing your belly in and pressing your foot straight up so it doesn't go way over your head and make you feel you're going to fall down backwards, unless that's how you want to feel and you're ready to fall down into your upward facing bow pose. All right, come back to your mat if you're off of it. Back to having 2 feet on the earth. All right. You had your right leg up and back on the inhale. And on your exhale, step your right foot back. Drop your right knee down to the mat. Now walk the left foot out to the left side a little bit. You can stay on your hands or come to your forearms. We're doing a little of this lizard lunging, or pristasana is often the name of the posture. You could hang your head. If you want this to be an inversion, curl your toes under, lift your hips up, your back knee up off the ground. And bring your head below your heart. A lot of it is getting strong. People think inverting is about core strength. I think it's kind of true, core awareness. A lot of it's really about gravity awareness. How do you push into the ground? And where do you put tension that you don't need it? How can you balance your equilibrium in an oppositional way? Right, inhale to come up onto your hands. You can always narrow the right to left stance of your feet a little bit. Climb up onto your left knee thigh. Settle your pelvis forward and down. We're just doing a little bit of side bending, back bending. Inhale, take your right arm up and exhale it over to the side. And we said that we will do some core strengthening in different varieties here. Good. Inhale up through center, and on the exhale, you might cactus your arms to backward bend or your shoulder blades down. Inhale, arms up, reaching up. And exhale, hands to the earth. Curl your back toes under. Step back to plank and pause in plank. So you can take plank on your hands. For any reason you have wrist issues, forearm plank does all the same core strengthening stuff. A little different, obviously, than teaching your hand-to-hand balance, which is a lot of what we've been doing today. Remember, you can always try these at inverted levels. Like often conversation is about using your knees. If you have props around anyway, you could always do plank your feet a little bit lower. Right? We're still doing something, right? But it's just a different amount of incline, different bit. You can give your wrists a little bit more space. All right, take an inhale. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward facing dog pose. Inhale your right leg up. Exhale, open your hip and bend your knee. Walk your hands one at a time back a little bit closer. So we're sort of somewhere between our one-footed forward fold and our one-footed dog. Inhale, lift to the ball of your left foot, and exhale to bend your knee. And here we're just going to take little hops of your left foot forward. So inhale, exhale, try to put it down a little in front. Inhale, exhale, put it a little more in front. Inhale to kick up. Exhale, try to put it down. Take another inhale. And exhale your right foot down next to your left. I know. It'll feel awkward, but try it and give yourself the space to breathe. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, Utkatasana, bend your knees. Inhale, arms up, still inhaling, stand up. And exhale, stand in Samasthiti. Let's do it on the other side. Inhale your arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale and roll halfway. Exhale, fold. Plant your right foot down. Inhale your left leg up, that one-footed folding business. Bend your right knee and walk your hands out. Now from here, as you press into the ground, inhale to shift your weight forward for the ball of your right foot. And exhale to bring it back. Now you might be able to bring your hands a little closer. Inhale, shift it forward. And exhale back. Always want to offer, if you have props or things you feel relatively safe standing on, always bring your right foot up onto something so you can come more over and down onto your hands. Of course, lifting your heel gets more challenging the higher up your foot is. And again, you could put it down here. I like to walk over staying inverted, but you can always go up and down. Just take it slow. Come to your chair or to your wall. You can either press down into the seat of the chair and inhale to come up onto the ball of your foot. You might even get some hang time. Notice that if you keep your knees bent, right, it's a little more of a tucked in bit of work. But also if you're at the wall, press. You might do this a little bit higher, be comfortable for you depending on your body and the wall that you have that I don't. If you're very comfortable with it, you might bring your right knee in, take your right foot up. Now, of course, the more away my hands are, the more it's going to feel like back bending. You might make it more like a dog. The wall is here. Press into the wall with your foot, right? You have a little bit of experimentation space to give it all a go. And when you're ready, you come back to the mat. And inhale to take that left leg up. Exhale to slide it back. Drop your back knee down. And do that little stretchy business down here in the earth. Climb up onto your right knee thigh. Press your pelvis forward and down. Did we do our lizard yet? I don't think so. Put your hands down on the inside of your right foot. Walk your right foot out. And again, you could always make this inverted too. Some people really like the way it feels to bring their shoulder behind their knee, etc. Have the head lower than the heart. right, now we'll go up to that. Walk your hands in, climb yourself up into your right leg. Inhale your left arm up. Exhale by exhale, side body bend over to the right. Inhale up through center. Exhale, backward bend in your own way. Inhale, arms up, reaching up. Exhale, two hands down. Inhale, plank pose. We'll stay in plank. I suggest that you not, kill yourself in plank. Feel free to stay for 2 or 3 breaths, especially if it feels immediately like you have a stress response to it or a trauma response of any kind. A lot of these things are supposed to create resistance for us, but not so much resistance that we fail. There's got to be wiggle room, space for us to practice being relaxed. Then the choices we're making, we feel good in those choices. We might expand to things that ask more of us in that training. Take another inhale. Exhale, chaturanga dandasana. Inhale, upward dog. And exhale, downward facing dog pose. Inhale your left leg up and back. Exhale, open your hip and bend your knee. Walk your hands in, closer. Split the difference, a short dog or a long one-footed fold. Inhale up into the ball of your right foot and exhale, bend your knee. Little hops, inhale. Hop up and exhale to land your right foot a few inches forward. Inhale. Exhale to bring it in. Inhale. And exhale. And eventually take both feet down next to one another at hips distance perhaps. Hang your head. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold and bend your knees. Inhale, Utkatasana. Still inhaling, stand. And exhale, Samasthiti. All right, we'll do a few back bends, a couple of more abdominal strengtheners, and wind down to rest. Especially with the change in your heart rate, you may feel your heart beating in your chest from all that hopping. It's pretty normal. Inhale your arms up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, chaturanga of your choice, step or maybe float back. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, one-footed dog. Exhale. Inhale, pull your shoulders over your wrists. Float your right foot. Exhale, your knee to your chest. Inhale, one-footed dog. Take the whole thing up and back. Exhale. Inhale, one-footed plank. Shift forward. Bring the heel of your left foot up. Exhale, your right knee to your right shoulder, elbow. Inhale, one-footed dog. Take an exhale. Inhale, one-footed plank. Exhale your right knee towards your left elbow or armpit across your body. Inhale, one-footed dog. Exhale. Step your right foot forward. Good. Now stand on your right foot. We're going to try to slide our left leg all the way through. So take an inhale. Exhale to draw your left knee towards your chest. Flex your foot. You might even need to drag it on the ground slowly as you can. Take it out long. We'll sit down. Let's twist to the right. Inhale your left arm up and go to the outside edge. Form a Marichyasana here. And also welcome to wrap around and hug. Knees back behind you. Take both legs out long in front of you. Take an inhale and exhale, fold forward over your legs. Press your hands into the ground, your heels into the ground. Inhale, try to lift your hips off the ground by straightening your elbows. And exhale to lower. Lean back, boat pose, Nawasana. Always keep your toes down and your shins parallel. Get support with your hands or take them out or up. Breathe. Cross your right ankle over your left. Lolasana means lifted seat. Try to keep your feet off the ground even if your butt does not lift. Inhale, try to lift it. Exhale, you might come forward. Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward dog. Exhale, downward facing dog pose. Inhale, bend your knees, look forward. Exhale, step or float forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Plant your left foot, inhale your right foot high. Exhale, step your right foot back, long low lunge. Plant your hands. Inhale, one-footed dog. Take your left leg up and back. Take an exhale there. Inhale to bring your shoulders over your wrists. Float your left foot, one-footed plank. Exhale your knee towards your chest. Inhale, one-footed dog. Exhale there. Inhale your shoulders over your wrists. Exhale. Your left knee towards your left shoulder, elbow. Inhale, one-footed dog. Take an exhale there. Inhale, one-footed plank. Exhale your left knee towards your right elbow or armpit. Inhale, one-footed dog. Exhale, low lunge. Now take an inhale to shift your weight forward. Lift your hips. I straighten my left knee a little. Exhale, pull your right knee in towards your chest. Rotate through. To take your leg down and long and sit down. Twist to the left. Inhale, right arm up. Exhale, rotate. Whatever fashion you wish. Exhale, release. Take both legs out long. Take an inhale. Exhale, fold. Plant your hands. Inhale, press into your heels and lift your hips. Now you might drag yourself back, and if you do, point your toes. See maybe if you can float your legs. And exhale down. I know, just 100 million times later. Cross your left ankle over your right ankle. Inhale. Let's lift it up. Oh, wait, we didn't do boat pose. Let's do it one more time. Just one more time. Sorry. Take an inhale. We should be in pretty good position to do it. Exhale, roll down onto your back. You can come into your elbows if you like. Trying to lift the bottom of our shoulder blades. Keep the low back pressed down. Now, for some of us, the legs can't go very low without the lower back lifting. Some of us might be able to lower them lower. This has more to do with the curve of your lower back than your abdominal strength. Whenever your legs are at that point where you're feeling work, you can still keep your lower back down. Pause there. If you're lifting your head, neck, and shoulders up, tuck your chin, press down through your palms isometrically, and drop your shoulder blades into your back. 5 breaths. Good. Exhale your knees into your chest. Inhale, rock yourself forward, roll yourself up, cross your left ankle over your right. Lolasana, inhale, lift it. Exhale, roll over it to Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward dog. And exhale, downward facing dog pose. Hide the gateway between your hands. Inhale, exhale, glide, slide, or struggle to a seat there. The soles of your feet together and your knees wide for Baddha Konasana. You can roll forward if you wish. Inhale to lift your heart and exhale to fold. Slowly roll yourself up. Draw your legs gently in. I'm going to give a little tutorial towards turning upside down and staying upside down. Legs up the wall, as we began with, is one way to do that. Another way to do it is this shoulder stand. I've taught it a couple of different times. You can also take your hips up onto blocks like you would for a bridge pose and give yourself space. I bring this up because you want to just be careful with your neck. Your neck is not super fragile. That's kind of like an idea that's been put on the neck by somebody, probably somebody patriarchal, but necks are a contingency space where lots of important nerves and things that deal with our brain are, and blood vessels, etc. So we do want to be pretty mindful with it in general and strengthen it as well by allowing it to have ranges of motion so that it can get strong, etc. So we're going to do a bridge pose that you could transition up into Urdhva Hastasana. I'm also going to give you a transition into shoulder stand. So if you know you're somebody who needs to set up for shoulder stand by creating a lip for yourself, I'll show it. I've shown this a couple times. I don't usually do it. My neck actually doesn't love it, so I don't always do it this way. But you would take your cushion or a folded blanket, bring your mat up over it. You will bring your shoulders to the edge of this to come down. Now, you can do these postures up on a chair. You can do them up on a stool. You can stack pillows. I happen to have 2 blocks, which you might have around. That's what I'm going to use for my hips. So to come into bridge from this position, see how my head is lower than my shoulders. This allows your neck more room to sort of tuck, actually, if it doesn't have a huge range of motion to do so. So if you wanted to do the shoulder stand, we'd go up and over this way. But we're going to do the bridge pose first. So plant your feet down, lift your hips up. And I'm going to take these 2 blocks for me and put them underneath my hips. So you can do it with 1 block. You can also do it with your hands underneath your hips. Make sure you have the range to go underneath there. And once you've got your sacrum settled, you can just stay here. This is an inversion as well. Satdu Bandha Sarvangasana, a supported shoulder form of the bridge, or the back bent, the Bandhu form of our Sarvangasana. Satdu Bandha Sarvangasana is sometimes the name it's given. Sarvangasana means all limb pose. It's what we call shoulder stand. Notice how your shoulders do support some of your weight here. You might play around with rolling your shoulders together, interweaving your fingers. Now from here, if you want to go up to Urdhva Hastasana, you put your hands on the ground, right where your mat kind of ends. Make sure you have some traction. And inhale to come on up. You might notice it's not as far because your hips were resting on something. Now, in last video, I showed a couple different ways to enter this. You're always welcome to scroll back through it. You utilize a wall, etc., so that you don't have to be at quite such an angle. Put your feet up on the chair that you've used and make it truly an inversion with your head below your hips. It's good to practice Urdhva Hastasana because if you want to practice handstand away from the wall as your shoulders gain the mobility to get close, you'll need to let your feet flop behind you and touch the wall. Good. You can come down from this at any time, slow, because you're kind of going to aim for where you left your pelvis. If you want to come into shoulder stand from here, you might bring your hands to your hips and slowly lift one leg. Bring your knees into your chest. You might notice that your hips roll to the edge of the block, etc. I use my hands on my thighs, but you might put your hands on your hips or your booty to lift your hips up and over. And now, in postures like this, if your feet don't come to the ground, right, you might come on down, use a prop under your feet. You need to interweave your fingers. For postures like this, we're also really trying to lift the tail up over instead of rounding like this. Halfway lift shape in the spine like Dandasana. Stick your tail out and lift your heart up. And this is the plow pose, but you could put support into your hands and come all the way up to shoulder stand here, bringing your hips over your heart, your feet over your hips. If for any reason this one doesn't work out, you could keep your butt on the blocks and take your legs up the imaginary wall, which looks like this, or this, or this. Still inverting a lot of the same impact is occurring. Sarvangasana shoulder stand really impacts our neck and shoulder relationship. And so if you've been struggling to get into this, if you're in it, it feels great, you feel free to stay. If you're struggling to get into this, I'm going to give you more options, honestly. One of them is doing it at a wall. You don't have to be super close. You're doing it at the wall, but just close enough. You could put your feet up on the edge of a chair or one foot against the wall and give yourself the ability to come up with this greater arch, right? So my feet don't have to come all the way up overhead, but this is the same skill set, using it to get up. You could also keep one foot on the wall, bring one foot straight up. You can work your way closer. But remember, legs up and up the wall or over the edge of a chair. Always super great. My one other suggestion about this is for some people, getting their spine to be supported is really helpful. That might be you. And so you might do the opposite. Come to the wall, toss your legs up and over. And then you have a little bit of lift for your legs, right? You can still use your hands and your hips. This can be kind of extreme in the neck, so make sure as you come in that you go slow. I'm going in a little quick so that you have demonstrated ideas of these postures. All right, beautiful people. If you're still up in your pose, start to slowly bring your legs down and come all the way down onto the back body. Gather your knees into your chest and rock a little from side to side, back and forth, round and around. If you feel a lot in your lower back, a couple of suggestions. You can twist, dropping both legs to the left and take your right arm out to the right. Take 3 or 4 breaths there. You can transition to the other side. And another option in this time is to do a little more abdominal strengthening, either with the head up or the head down. Bring your knees over your hips or just a little further away. Press into your thighs with your hands like you're trying to push yourself away. Push your legs away. Use your abdominals to press your low back down and keep your legs where they are. Try to keep your shoulders down so the pressure comes from pushing, just like chaturanga in your arms, as opposed to from neck tension. Take 5 breaths. Whenever you've completed your actions, give yourself one more squeeze and move into any resting or integrating position that you like. You could head to a piece of furniture, bed or a chair or couch. You could lie flat on your back with your arms out or your palms resting on your torso. You're welcome to roll to one side and take seated meditation if you prefer. Maybe you're moving on to something sort of integrated and mentally active next, and that's best for you. Side or your belly instead. Yourself with props. You might feel that some of this last inverting is already slowing you down. You might think to yourself, I've got my legs up the wall and that's where I want to stay, and that would be chill too. We'll take just a couple of minutes to rest, about 3 or 4, and then I'll call you up and out. Close your eyes. Even if at first your breath's a little choppy or held, let it come towards neutral. Let go of control of it. Let the ujjayi soften down into your involuntary breath sense. Maybe the eyes look at one spot, or you close them. Soften your face. Let whatever is holding you hold you. Let gravity take you. I'll call you up and out when it's time. Till then, pay attention to how things actually are. Sahana vavatu sahano bhunaktu saha viryam karvavahai tejasvi navaditamastu mavet vashavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. If you're lying in rest and wish to remain so, or seated in meditation, feel free to do so as long as you'd like, even if the video runs out or if you just want to stop it. Otherwise, slowly begin to return towards reality, deepen your breath enough to feel again towards wakeful external awareness. You might roll your wrists gently, as we did a lot of wrist work, or fold your fingers, move the muscles of your face. Slowly, as a practice of gratitude, as you unfurl towards sitting to finish out your ritual, your practice, consider the given circumstances. You might note the land you stand on. I'm here on Lumi land, unceded straight Salish land. You might consider what it took through many millennia of planet making and universe making and land mass structure making and ecosystem making for humans to emerge. Practice gratitude for that. Just gratitude for the culture in which yoga is accessible to you, the cultures from which yoga comes, Southeast Asia and India. And particularly, my teachers have a lineage from South India, from Mysore. You might consider your own work, the work you do to show up, and the communities and individuals that support you. Remember always to practice gratitude for the courage to turn towards how things really are. That's a closing chant. It means, may we, as we learn together, be protected. May we know joy and safety. May our work together for the liberation of all be brilliant, and may our work seek to contribute to the happiness and liberation of all beings everywhere inside of this context of universality, non-dualism, and peace. Remember, if you need to, after all this work of starting to balance in your hands and shoulders, roll out your shoulders, give yourself movement kindly and stretch, and always roll through your wrists and roll through your wrists a little. And know that as strength grows, as things change in your body, you will feel it. So let yourself feel as you change. And that reminder. All of the information about how to support these practices are there, but it is freely given. So please use this to your own advantage for your own liberation. If you ever need anything or have feedback or questions, feel free to reach out. And there's always information about donations and about the work that I do, etc., and how to find me in the little write-up for the video. I hope until we see each other again, and you get to practice liberation more, and the sun shines on your face, and you get some joy and wellness. Thank you for letting me be a part of your work. Have a good day.